Hello everyone and welcome back to Brick Country. Today we're going to be reviewing the Legends of Zelda Great Deku Tree, set 77092 with 2,500 pieces. This is a ginormous set and I'm very excited to get into it. You'll notice in the top corner there's a little tag, and that's because I got this set at the LEGO store, damaged box 20% off. And that was the real reason that I picked it up day one, as it is very expensive at its normal price. You can see a lot of damage to the bottom of the box, but the set inside and the bags were all still sealed, so that's all that really matters. Yeah, this set though will cost 300 US dollars, and that is a very expensive price tag, but it is a Legends of Zelda set, and that is really cool. The first Legends of Zelda set, so I was so excited to pick this set up. And you can see at the top corner it says Great Deku Tree 2-in-1, because this set allows you to build either the Breath of the Wild version of the set or the Ocarina of Time version. On the side of the box, you can see there's a very nice profile picture of Link's treehouse, and several printed elements are featured just in this little build. And what's really cool is throughout this whole set, there are no stickers whatsoever. It is a solely printed set, and I love that feature. On the side of the box, you can see there are several images displaying the Ocarina of Time version and the Breath of the Wild version of the Great Deku Tree, and I'm just going to go ahead and say I'm reviewing and building the Breath of the Wild version of the Deku Tree. Down here, you can see two side-by-side images of the heights of the two models, and the Ocarina of Time version is actually slightly taller. I believe it's because of that center spout of limbs and leaf elements, because the Breath of the Wild version just has the limbs on the side, but it still gives a very nice effect, while the Ocarina of Time version has the full top area to dedicate to leaves. It's a very nice looking model. I just prefer the Breath of the Wild version because I've played the Breath of the Wild game. On the top of the box, you can see all four minifigures from the set, and over on the side, an image of the Hylian shield and the Master Sword. There's also the Ocarina of Time logo, as well as the Breath of the Wild version. I'm not going to go into too much detail of the figures right now, because I will show them in more detail as we get to them. Let's dive into the actual build. You can see here there are 23 numbered bags in the set, but you actually get 3 sealed number bags at the very end if you decide to build the Breath of the Wild version. These are all extra pieces that come with the set in order to build the Ocarina of Time version. You can see in bag 21 there's a lot of good leaf elements. In bag 22 we have some more of the buildable characters, this printed element for the Great Deku Tree like seedling, and there's also the Skulltula spider, I believe, printed element, and there's also the elements of these like piranha plant looking things on the side, and bag 23 has a lot more just pieces to build the actual tree. The instruction booklet is very nice white art, and it has the Breath of the Wild version on the front and the Ocarina of Time version on the back. Very nice, very clean instruction book. Moving on to the first figure you get when you build the set, it is young Link, and this figure looks very nice. He has a double-sided face, one being a more serious and the other being happy. You can see he has dual molded legs as well as arms with some very nice print details on them. And both on his chest and his back, there's very nice printing to represent his classic green outfit. He also comes with this very nice wooden shield, and I love the print details on this element. Moving on to normal Link, or older Link, he looks very nice as well. He comes with a serious face as well as an angry face, so he's double-sided faced as well. And looking on the side, you can see he also has dual molded legs as well as arms with great print detailing on his chest as well as his back. He also comes with a very unique extra, being the actual Ocarina of Time. I don't know the purpose in-game of this element, as I've never played the game. Someone in the comment section let me know, but I really like how this molded element looks, and glad he got an exclusive one. Comparing the two versions of Link, you can see the only differences really on the arms, where you can see young Link has skin tone and old Link has white and gloves, as well as right below the collar, or right above, older Link has his white shirt peeking through. Taking a look at the first build of the set, it's Link's treehouse. We even have a little sign that says so in Hylian over here on the side, which is printed on a 2x3 tile. We also get Navi, I believe her name is, which is a little fairy-like helper for Link and Ocarina of Time, I believe. Again, I haven't played the game. I love the black base of this build though, it makes it very displayable on its own. There's a lot of nice snot brick techniques used on the side to get the rounded effect done very nicely. Popping off the roof and kind of deconstructing it a little bit here so you guys can see. It uses a lot of snot elements to attach everything together. And on the side here to frame in the door frame, you can actually see some snot brackets being used to clip it all together, and I think it gives a very nice end result. When you put it all together, it gives it a very nice rounded feel, and there's a ton of really nice parts usage found throughout this entire build. Turning around to the back of this little model, you can see Link has a bed up top, but there's also a crate down below with a ton of awesome elements hidden inside. Included among them is a green potion, a red potion, a bomb, a compass, a grappling hook, and the Hylian shield. The Hylian shield being my absolute favorite element among them. The Hylian shield is a all new mold with great print detailing, and I just love how this turned out. Very good job, Lego. I think you knocked it out of the park, and this is a perfect representation in Lego form of the iconic shield. And I love how young Link looks sitting in his treehouse, and that's definitely how I'm going to be displaying this build. Moving on to the Breath of the Wild based figures, first up we have Princess Zelda, and I think LEGO did a great job on this figure. She has a double-sided face, one being a calm face and the other being a sleeping expression, and she also features dual molded arms and legs with great detailing on the side, and her hairpiece is a new mold, and I love how LEGO did it. You can see how it flows in the back, and they really captured how it feels in the game, and then the print detailing on the chest is carried around to the back as well. She also comes with a printed 1x2 tile to represent her Sheikah Slate, and I think LEGO did great with this element. It is an all-around perfect figure to represent what we see in the popular video game. The last minifigure in this set is, in my opinion, the best figure of the set, and that is Breath of the Wild version of Link. He has amazing print detailing on his chest and legs, featuring a double-sided face, one being a calm expression and the other being an angry expression. He also has dual molded legs and arms, all the figures do in this set, and it looks great on this figure. Great back printing as well, and I love his new hairpiece, which includes his ponytail. He also comes with a printed Traveler's Shield, and it is just printed on a basic Captain America shield. I love how it looks, and I'm really glad LEGO decided to include this cool shield. And in case you're wondering, the older Link from Ocarina of Time has the same exact headpiece as Breath of the Wild version of Link, which is a cool little detail. So I'm logging on to Breath of the Wild right now on my Switch, so we'll be able to compare and contrast the LEGO version compared to the actual in-game version. But first, we actually have to get to the Great Deku Tree. There we go. Okay, so first up, let's take a look at where the Master Sword sits. You can see it's a very nice triangular shape, and it's a nice stone ruin feel, a lot of grass, a lot of growth, and there's 3 statues or rocks in the 3 corners of the triangle, and also some silent princess flowers scattered around. Taking a look at LEGO's version, I think they did a great job of capturing this in LEGO form. You can see it's this separate, almost diorama base from the actual Great Deku Tree, and they did a great job of capturing these stone angles all around and a lot of the growth of the plants. They also have the 3 rocks, as I was pointing out, at the 3 corners of the triangle, and that was just really cool building that and having it come together so nicely. On the side of the stand, you can see we also have some of these silent princess flowers, as well as some other Breath of the Wild vegetation, like some of these Endura shrooms, Hylian shrooms, and even a hardy radish. This build turned out great, and I love how the Master Sword looks up on his pedestal, and if you add minifigures, it looks even better. Let's take a closer look at that Master Sword element now, as it looks so good. So taking a closer look at the sword, it looks amazing. I believe the correct term would be dual molded. As you can see, it is 2 different types of plastic or material used to make it. We have this translucent sword, which looks amazing, and then the purple or dark blue hilt. It just looks so good. If you look closely on the actual blade, you can see they even included the Triforce accurate to what we see in game. And the sword actually slides in thanks to some cool snot techniques used in the actual stand, and you can see it's not a perfect fit. It does have a little wiggle room so it can wobble back and forth, but once you get it propped up nicely and you have this on a shelf or a display stand, It truly captures the feeling when you first enter the Korok forest and see the Master Sword for the first time glowing on its pedestal. Moving on to one of the more amusing characters from the Breath of the Wild game, we have Hestu included in this set. He is an exceptionally large Korok, and in-game, you can trade Korok seeds to him, and in return, he will expand your inventory and do a little dance with his maracas. Now, one great detail that LEGO actually thought to include, that's right, his maracas actually work, and I think that is so cool. It's just thanks to some studs inside the actual maracas, and I just think it does a perfect job representing such a fun aspect of the iconic character. Now, taking a look at the actual Great Deku Tree, you can see in game he is absolutely massive, towering above all these other trees around, and he is in the center of the Lost Woods. Now, you can see moving up here, we have a very large root jutting out to the front, and if you climb up this root, you can actually go up to the Great Deku Tree and talk to him by standing on this little stump right up front. Now, let's compare it to the LEGO version. You can see the LEGO version truly does it justice as the Deku Tree towers above the surrounding trees and truly commands attention. It is a beautiful model and truly captures what we see in game. I spent time in Breath of the Wild actually looking at each fold and piece of bark as I could on the face, and LEGO does a great job here capturing all of the details. And on the bottom, you can see there's a very nice black diorama base. So this is a very clean, very displayable build. And I just love how much effort LEGO has put into this model to make it look absolutely perfect. On the side of the build, we also have two trees to indicate the scale of the Deku Tree, and I really like that touch. Moving on to the side, wait, what's this rock doing here? We have our first Korok of the build, and the Koroks look great in this set. I've actually copied this design when I first saw the leaked images of the set, and the only exclusive element among them are the printed face masks, and you get these two as extra pieces in the set, and I just love how the Koroks look. Moving on to the actual Deku Tree, we can see we have several of these large roots coming out of the Deku Tree, one front main one, and then one on either side of the build. The main front one, you can see we also have the 2x2 printed stump tile, representing the stump in the game that you would go up and talk to the Great Deku Tree on. You can see the roots coming out of the Deku Tree are also very nicely shaped using snot elements, and the face of the Deku Tree has just as much attention to detail, using some Technic elements for the lips and various slopes to create the mustache, nose, and eyebrows. I love the parts usage for the actual eye, though. They use brown chef's hat for the eyes. Just so much attention to detail in this set. Going back into the Breath of the Wild game, it's time to look at the interior of the Great Deku Tree. You can see under the main root, we have a slight ramp going up into this tunnel. Going through the tunnel into the Deku Tree, there are several rooms, but in the center we have a cooking pot, which is a really cool detail. We have a bed over there, and over here we have a mushroom shop selling various kinds of mushrooms throughout the game that will give you different power-ups or increase your stamina or your defense or your attack, and they just do different things. So it's really cool that they have a shop that sells all these different plants inside the Great Deku Tree. We also have a cooking pot where you can cook some of your favorite meals. I'm just going to cook a Hylian shroom real quick, and I'm excited to take a look at LEGO's version of the Great Deku Tree interior. So let's do that right now. For starters, Link can enter the front of the Great Deku Tree through this little ramp and tunnel spinning around the model. We can take a look at the interior, which is pretty accurate to what we see in the game actually. Over here we have the Korok selling all these different mushrooms, and you can see the Korok is using a gray color scheme. He also has a stem to represent their little helicopter-like staffs, and he also has a very nice 1x2 printed element to make his face. He sits on a little stool over here, and you can see we have all these different types of mushrooms surrounding his stand. Link can also sleep in a bed accurate to what we see in the game. He can cook his food right over here, and they even have one of the classic Korok pots that you can break to get the arrows out of the inside. Moving on to the top of the Great Deku Tree, you can see there's a large area up here where some fairies are hanging out, and the vegetation around this area is really cool. There's also a Korok up here named Wanton, I believe is how you pronounce it, as well as two of these pea in a pod looking lights that are native to the Korok forest area. And again, I think LEGO did a great job of representing this area at the top of the Great Deku Tree. We have Wonton, the Korok. Let's take a look at him. You can see he's done in a darker brown style and has a very nice yellow heart element printed with the Korok face mask. Up here we also have the beanpole pea in a pod looking light, a fairy, some nice flowers, as well as an apple, which is a reference to the side quest that Wanton will give you. Another cool detail is the same printed element used for the Navi character from Ocarina of Time is the same printed element used for the fairy from Breath of the Wild. I just thought that was a really cool detail. Also, the leaf elements or stems used at the top of the Deku Tree, you can see use a lot of dinosaur tail-like elements as well as technic elements. You have to build 4 identical ones and then you attach them like so, and I think it gives a really cool result. And we all know that in-game, the Great Deku Tree will talk to you and kind of share words of wisdom, and it's really cool in-game to play and experience. But what's something that's really cool to me is LEGO decided to go the extra mile and actually include a function for this in the LEGO set. Turning around, we have a little knob on the back, and thanks to some Technic elements on the inside, the Great Deku Tree can, in fact, talk, and I think this just looks so cool. The function works perfectly, and it's just a really fun function to play with. Some other really cool functions in this set is actually these hidden details on either side of the Great Deku Tree, one being this Sheikah slate stand for the Sheikah slate that comes with Princess Zelda, and on the other side, I actually don't know what these are referencing in Breath of the Wild. We have a minifig head and a Minecraft head in trans blue, so someone in the comment section, let me know what those are supposed to represent, because I just have no idea. But it is really cool that LEGO decided to hide some extra Easter eggs on either side of the Great Deku Tree. The last detail I really want to show is the Master Sword stand can attach very easily to the front of the Great Deku Tree's diorama base thanks to some Technic pins that just slide in place, so it just kind of holds it where it's supposed to be, and it just looks so cool like this. There's also 2 spots to place Hetsu on the main build. You can put him on the Master Sword stand or on the Deku Tree stand. I'm going to put him on the Deku Tree stand so he's a little further back and a little more in view. And I just love how this overall build turned out. I think it is very accurate to what we see in game, and LEGO did an excellent job of capturing all the details that we love about the Great Deku Tree and Breath of the Wild in LEGO form. I also love how these 2 figures look if you put them on the Master Sword stand directly in front of the Deku Tree, and I just can't stop playing with the talking tree function. LEGO, you guys knocked it out of the park. Now, I do wish it was a little cheaper. $300 is very expensive, but I will say for any die-hard Legends of Zelda fans out there, it is worth the price. Well, there you go. This has been my review of the Legends of Zelda Great Deku Tree set, and I really hope LEGO keeps this up and does more Legends of Zelda sets, hopefully one day off Tears of the Kingdom as well. If you want to see some more awesome videos, they should be popping up on your screen now, and make sure you guys like and subscribe so you don't miss any of my upcoming videos. I'll see you guys later. Farewell.